Hello everyone, welcome to another video. Today I want to discuss how good can Tennessee actually be in basketball. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at previous games, kind of assess what happened and what could have gone better for the team. And then kind of look forward and see what Tennessee has to come. So first I kind of want to take a look at the Kansas game. Now this game I saw Grant Williams take several terrible fouls. Like going under the basket, trying to go for a loose ball that clearly a Kansas guy had, and he picked up. I think it was his fifth. That's where he fouled out. And it's just like ticky-tacky fouls like that, where he doesn't need to put himself in that position to do that. Then Animal didn't do himself a lot of big favors there by chucking up 8 3-pointers, only draining 2 of them. One for 3 at the free throw line. Wasn't a great game. I mean, even Fulkerson, who played 8 minutes, had 0 points. I mean, Kyle Alexander had one of his more decent games where he picked up 10. Bowden shot 2 for 6, 0 for 3 from 3-pointer, and picked up 4 points. I mean, Bone had a decent game, 40 minutes, 16 points, 5 assists. I mean, decent game overall. But it's the guys who needed to come through. Like, Grant Williams did not need to foul out there. He's got to be a lot smarter. Admiral has to take better shots, so he's not putting up 22 shots and only hitting 9. I mean, yeah, it's a decent percentage, sure, but I mean, you're only making 9 shots off 22 boards. It's not fantastic. It's 41% from the floor. And then the team just crumbled in overtime, which you never really want to see, especially from the veteran squad like that. Like, I expect that kind of like from Kansas or Kentucky or Duke, a really young squad. But if you got a bunch of guys here, you have 3 seniors on this team, can't happen. Alright, so let's transfer to some fun stuff. Let's talk about the Gonzaga game. Now, we can talk a lot about different aspects of this game, but I want to focus on the final 2 minutes and 30 seconds. Grant Williams fouls out, and everyone's like, oh god, it's the Kansas game all over again. Except when Grant fouled out in the Kansas game, we had a lead. When he fouled out of the Gonzaga game, we were down by 2. And who comes and saves the day? Admiral goddamn Schofield. Absolutely beautiful. Hits a 2 to bring us even. A great series of defensive possessions later, Admiral hits a 3 and then another to seal the deal. Pons also played some fantastic defense. It's good to see the Frenchie come out here and actually show that he's worth something besides just dunking on kids. It's wonderful to see. Now, what I wanted to kind of focus here is bring this game up. Of course, this is because, we beat the #1 team in the nation. But also, if we remember, Lamonte Turner didn't play in that game. And Lamonte is by far one of the most clutch players that Tennessee has, especially if we all recall back to that Kentucky game a couple years ago where he just drained a 3 straight up. It was like the NBA 3-point line and just pushed it. And I loved every second of it. But Admiral stepping up and just hitting bucket after bucket after bucket is just so relieving for me to see that there are other people on this team that can drain 3s and just basically just hit shots regardless of what occurs. And if we look back on, past Tennessee teams, it's kind of a pattern that we see with, even if it's like Jordan McRae, Josh Richardson, Kevin Punter, Chris Lofton, that they've always needed one person to come up clutch and drain that shot in a game-winning situation. But now we have Grant Williams, Admiral Schofield, and Lamonte Turner. I mean, even Bone's hitting some shots now. I mean, I wouldn't really trust Bowden because, as we saw from the Vanderbilt game, he chucks up shots with 3 guys around him, and you never really want to see that. But all in all, there's some great character on this team. Even if you look at let's go to the most recent games where we've had some struggles, at least in the beginning, and then kind of close it out. Like West Virginia, this most recent game, we were played terrible. And what ESPN cut to a clip of Rick Barnes talking to his team. So we scored 5 points in 12 minutes. We're terrible. Let's change this, which I love seeing that accountability. It's something I hated from Butch Jones. He always just didn't hold anyone accountable. And it's just, you just want to see someone take control of the situation. Like, hey, this person screwed up. Hey, I screwed up because of X, Y, and Z reasons. And it was just great to see from Rick Barnes. And you know what happened? Tennessee turned it around and won the game 83-66, 17 points when they were down 12, which is the biggest deficit of the season earlier in the first half. And now I kind of want to talk about, kind of bundle the Florida, Alabama, and Vanderbilt game all together in the same bubble. Label them basically as grit games. Now the reason why I label them grit games is because no one really played that well in these games as a whole team. Like, Grant went off in the Vanderbilt game. We all understand that. 23 for 23 from the free throw line, 43 points. Absolutely incredible. I'm not saying that he played bad, but the team as a whole did not play well. And that's why these games were so close. Like the Florida game, for instance, Tennessee played terrible for 39 minutes, and in the 40th minute, everyone's like, can we just beat Florida so we can just get it over with? And they came together and they dunked on them and won by 11 when they were down for the majority of the game, and it didn't look like they're coming back anytime soon. Same kind of thing with Alabama. We played terrible against Alabama. I mean, you know what? In the final kind of minutes, we were just like, okay, let's get this stuff together. Grant played a little better. Adam was a little more cohesive. Lamonte was playing well. And then Bone taking it up. Bowden, wasn't taking terrible shots anymore. It was some good stuff. And then Kyle Alexander was actually boxing people out. Side note on Kyle Alexander, will someone get him just like a steak to eat? Like, I don't know what's going on with that man. He's what, like 6'9" to 6'11", somewhere in that range. Looks like he's like $120. Someone feed him. All right, but back to the grit part. So all these games came down to a final stretch in the second half, with like 2 to 3 minutes left, where the veterans took over, which you gotta love to see. Especially since we were kind of a young core last year. At least it was a young core in the sense of experience, as to say there wasn't a lot of tournament experience. Like, there not a lot of people have been in that kind of clutch situation where the team's that good. So it's always good to see the veterans step up and take control of the game. Alright, now let me transition to this. The ending is part of the schedule. So from February 16th to the end of the season on March 9th is an absolute gauntlet, and I hate looking at it. So 16th, of course, we're at Kentucky. It's going to be a great game. A couple days later, February 23rd, we're at LSU, who's currently ranked 25. I'm not entirely sure if that's going to move or not, up or down. And then 4 days later, we're at number 20 Ole Miss on the 27th. And then the very next game is against UK in Knoxville. And then we have Mississippi State coming to Knoxville, and then we're going to Auburn. That's 5 ranked opponents in 7 games. It's going to be absolutely insane. And then we have the SEC tournament coming up right after the Auburn game, and then make it to the actual NCAA tournament. Now, I'm going to go ahead and say this. Tennessee probably is not going to win the SEC tournament with that brutal back half of a schedule. I would not be surprised, because what if we do decently there? And I guarantee you we're going to at least drop 1 to UK, which I hope we don't. We're going to lose one of the Mississippi schools. I really hope it's neither. But we're probably going to lose we're losing one of the games. I'm not sure who. And then we're getting a revenge game at Auburn, and I think we're going to beat Auburn. But regardless, we're going to drop a game or two in there. And we might lose the number 1 ranking, which is to be expected if you lose a game. But as long as we play well in the back half, we will either be a 1, 2, or 3 seed. I would rather be a 2 seed than a 3 seed, but that's how everyone feels. It's not really that hot of a take there, Chach. Anyways, but I would not be surprised if we do not win the SEC tournament. I wouldn't be shocked by it. I wouldn't be actually angry at it, because that hopefully would mean that we're resting some players up for the actual tournament. And as we saw last year, especially if you face Old Catholic ladies as their mascot, upsets can happen. I'd rather just be well rested and be prepared for those teams that could cause an upset than anything else. Well, guys, I really appreciate you coming in and giving me a view. Hopefully dropping a like and subscribing if you enjoyed my content. I know that it's kind of strange to talk about college basketball before the Super Bowl happens, but I'm a Tennessee fan, and we have really nothing to look forward to unless it's this college basketball team. Also, not a hot take. Tennessee is a basketball school now. All right, have a good one, y'all.